Today we're going to talk about grouping objects. Let's get right into it. You can group a set of objects, which are pictures, shapes, 3D models, charts, and icons, or text boxes to manipulate that particular group. You may ask me, what do I want to, why do I want to group that? You may want to format them as a group. You may want to delete them as a group. You may want to copy them as a group or move them as a group. So it just makes better use of your time. It saves time, which we'll talk about just a little bit. It makes you a little more efficient. You simply press the Shift key and select the items to go into your group, and then you can manipulate it the way you want to. If something does not highlight or show the handles, then that particular object cannot be grouped, which is typically like an Excel chart or something along those lines. You can also ungroup a group of items. If you wanted to remove one particular object from the group of objects, you can do that. Then you can also regroup. If you've had to modify one of the items in the group, you can also regroup, and we'll show you that. And doing it the hard way is holding the Control key down and clicking each object, trying to find the groups. I did that for a long time until I found someone else basically painting the areas or the objects you wanted to cover, if you can do that. Or as the help says, hold the Shift key down and select your items to make your group and manage it. So here are some notes that we just talked about, some of the benefits of grouping. Let you look over those real quickly. And I've taken the liberty of basically using our thumbnail, and we're going to modify it. So let's drop out of slideshow view and go back to edit view. I've got some things here I don't necessarily want to discuss. Okay, we have our slide, and if you'll notice, we've got 3 items with yellow borders, 2 with red, and 2 with blue. Now you may ask, okay, so what's the big deal? Well, if you hold the Shift key down, select this object and this object, you can move those off. Well, I need to reduce my zoom a little bit. You can move those off. You could copy them. Now you've got 2 sets. Let's just delete this because this is getting a little annoying. These out here on the far right. You could put one item back and leave the other, or you could make a group, hold the Shift key down, put it back in some other spot. Or you could just delete it by hitting the delete key. Now, one feature that I use a lot is the formatting. Now notice here, I selected the wrong object. I want to select, let's hit the escape key. I want to select, hold the Shift key down. I want to get the bottom right yellow box, this one. And to get this one here, I need to move to the far right corner. Otherwise, I grab this big box, which is the title of the slide. So you have to be careful where you put your pointer to make sure you get the proper object that you want to capture or put into the group. So I'm going to get this one, the bottom right, and then this top one. You can release the Shift key, right click, and you want to group those. Okay. Now, click on any of them. You see it's got a different box of handles. That's one group. Okay, now what can I do with it? Say you want to change the format. You want to make it, let's say, a black border. Let's make it black. Let's make it really big so you can see it. Let's go with 6. Why didn't we do all of them? Maybe need to hold the shift key down. Let's reverse that. Let's hold the shift key down. Format, line, black. 6. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, we have a group. If you go to group, you can see you can ungroup them. So what's supposed to happen, all the items in a group are supposed to change. Let's select all 3 items in a group. We can ungroup them, but we don't want to do that. We want to make them all have a black solid line, black border with a 6 width. And then it happened. So I guess what it's really showing us is that once you select the group, to mass edit the group, you have to select all the items. I don't remember that in the past. So we still have the group, but we can move it wherever we want to. Now let's work on the blue ones. Right click, group. Let's just shift them a little bit to the right. Notice how they're keep the same relationship and orientation or distance, and you can move them wherever you want. And you could also go back and ungroup, right click, ungroup. Now they are separate entities that you can move accordingly. Then you could also go back and regroup, just regroup. And now they are in a new relationship to each other. Now, sometimes, if you'll notice, there's another option here, ungroup. Sometimes you can bring in a image and you can try to ungroup it, but see, this one is grayed out, so there's no option. But I found another one, another image that you could ungroup. So you select the image or the object, go to group, ungroup. Now, notice all you got 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 different parts here. That's the main part. So we got 1 here. Got another one here, the face. I thought there was 1 more. Let's see if we can ungroup it anymore. Yes, you can ungroup it more. So just pick one. I think you get the picture here. So we have her head, we have her face, and we have her torso. And this is if you want to do something with just this part of the body. You want to put some blue eyes and red lips or something, you could do that. Or if you want to blow up her face and use that as an icon or something, you could do that. And then you have the torso. So if you hit Control Z, we'll go back and put it back together. And you go to group and then regroup it back to what it was initially. So that's it on grouping. It saves you time, saves you keystrokes. You can also ungroup whatever it is you group. You can modify the group once you get through doing your modification, and you can also regroup the group elements. It allows mass creativity of the slide and the presentation. And what I do a lot of is mass formatting. So play around with grouping of objects. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, and we will be sure to address them. Have a good time with grouping.